So we're going to talk in HTML3 here about hyperlinks. Hyperlinks are how we move from one place to the other. And we have three different ways we can hyperlink. We can hyperlink to a different site. So from within this little page that we're building now, we can hyperlink to Google or something like that. We could hyperlink to a different page within our site. So from this page that lists all the courses, we could hyperlink over to an about page or over to a contacts page or something like that. And we can hyperlink to somewhere different on our page. That's the third way. So we could start at the top of the page and we can hyperlink into fall 2011, spring 2012, wherever we decide that we need to hyperlink to. And then we could maybe hyperlink back to the top. So to get started, we got the page open here. Hyperlink to a different location is probably the easiest to get going with. So we do that with an A tag, an anchor tag. So we open an anchor tag and we close an anchor tag. And the stuff that lies in the middle becomes the words that we click on or the picture that we click on to go where we want to go. The A tag by itself is not useful, so we need an attribute. We need the href attribute. So I want to take this MIS majors courses, and when you click on those words, I want it to link back to the Tippy site. So I just need to set this up for the others, for the electives, and for the BTA. And again, it's not useful without the attribute. This closing quote and closing bracket seems to be one of the hang-ups that cause a lot of problems, cause a lot of grief. Things just aren't working right, they're not displaying right, and you can't quite figure out why. Go back and make sure you've got everything closed up. Okay, we save that, and let's look at this page. Okay, we have, these are hyperlinks now. So these are going to appear blue when they're new, purple when you visited there. They're going to have an underline. You can change all of that using a style sheet, and we'll get to the style sheets here before long. And it looks like these are working correctly. They're linking out to another site, from our site to a different site. Now the other thing I want to have, I'll put a little menu system up here so that we can go over to an about mic and to a contact mic and those kinds of things, be able to move around within our site, and also then have it set up so that we can link to different places within this page. So we'll go right after the horizontal rule, and I'm just going to stick in an unordered list. And I'll need list items with an anchor tag. About mic, contact mic, we'll do fall 2011. So these are the big navigation points that I want to get to be able to move around on the page. So when we look down here at linking outside of our site to a different site, we had absolute paths. Here we've established HTTP, so we've laid out the protocol, we've laid out the web server that we want to go to, we've laid out the file structure within the web server, and finally the file name that we want to get to. So we've been very, very precise and very specific about where we want to go. Now the problem is, once somebody changes something on here, so the web server name or the folder name or something like that, this is all going to break. So when we're linking to outside sites, we don't really have a choice. We have to use the absolute path. But when we're linking within our site, we're going to try to not be this precise, to be a little less precise. And that way, if a name changes or something like that, or if the folder structure changes, we might still be okay. So this is an absolute path. We're going to use relative paths. So if you look at the folder setup that I've got, here on my desktop, I have a folder called Mike. Within there is index.html. That's what we're editing right now. At the same level in the folder structure, we have about.html. If you go down one folder into other, we have a contact.html. So I want to be able to, I want to link to all three of those using relative paths. So about Mike, I need to add the href to make this useful. And I can just put in the name of the file. It's case sensitive, by the way. For the contact Mike, remember contact was down in that folder called other. Okay, so I have created relative links. You might also see a relative link that looks like that, and that just means from where I'm at now, look for about. This dot, it just means from where I'm at now, go into the other folder, go into contact.html. So let's save that. We need to get into these other pages and make a way out. Here we're going to use relative paths again. So we're going to ... We're in a folder, remember, for contact. We're down here in the other folder. We need to go up one level to Mike. So ... means go up one level to index.html. And we'll just call this home. And then on the About page, from where I'm at now, look for index.html. Okay, so let's test this quickly and see if it works. Okay, these work. Yes. About Mike goes to about. Home comes back. Contact Mike goes back. Very good. So we're using relative links there. Within our site, we're linking within our site. We're moving around without doing that absolute path, without specifying the absolute path. So the last three things that we want to knock out here are the anchor points. So we can hyperlink to somewhere different within our web page, within the internal site, or with the internal page. So at the very bottom here, let's create an A. Let's give it an attribute ID. I'm sorry, A href. Let's start here at the top of the page. And we're going to give it an A tag with an ID of top. And as soon as we open the A tag, we're going to close the A tag, so there's no text or anything in between here. It's immediately open, immediately close. ID just signals where we're at on the page. We're at the top of the page, this name top. So we're going to copy this structure to fall 2011. We're going to rename from top to F11. And we're going to do it for spring. WS12. And for links. So we've just created some anchor points on the page that we might want to jump to. So now if that we have our anchor points, it's time to be able to jump to those locations. So down here at the bottom of the page, let's have an A. We'll do an href. I want to jump to that anchor point. So to be able to jump to that anchor point, it's open quote, it's pound. top, and then close up the tag. So now this looks very similar to the way we use the relative path and the absolute path that we link to those locations, only here we're linking to an anchor point. Here we're going to href to F11. Here we'll link to the anchor point S12, and finally we'll link to links. Okay, we'll save all of that and let's test it. So if I click F11, it takes me to the F11, Spring 2012, links, and from links, I can click on top. It takes me back to the top. So we're able to link within the page using these. Now, one other quick thing that we'll talk about here, we don't necessarily have to use the HTTP. We can use this anchor tag to mail. So let's put a little spacing in here and put email me. Anchor tags. Okay, these aren't useful unless we give them some attributes. Our attributes are going to be href equals mail to. We can close this up. We'll save it. Now, in class, we talk about browsers doing things, interpreting commands a little bit differently. That's what's happening here. So Chrome doesn't like this command, so we need to open it with Firefox. Once we open it with Firefox, we see an email me. We click on that. Opens your mail application, fills in where we're mailing to. The one other thing, if this is some kind of a support email, so you could fill in the to address that you're mailing it to. You can fill in the subject, so # subject equals, I have a complaint, and sign, body equals, close quote. Save this up. We need to open this in Firefox again. Fills in the to address, fills in the subject, fills in the body. And this is all about linking within the web page and to external sites.